on the way I vibe when I walk into the room. Wind blows underneath the soles of my brand new pair of shoes.
All right. Welcome to another session of the Cold Calling Podcast Live, where we make live cold calls. I'm Collin Mitchell, the host of the show here. And if you haven't checked out the Cold Calling Podcast on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on, definitely do that now. That's where we drop best moments from these sessions. That's where you get to hear the other side of these conversations. And today I've got Tim Miller from Rightbound joining me. Tim, why don't you just give folks a little bit of background on yourself and what it is you guys do over there at Rightbound and who you're going to be calling into today.
Yeah, so I've been in sales for quite some time. Interned in sales when I was in college, and then never left. Sales kind of took me and said, "You will follow me for the rest of your life." So that's how I got here. Joined Rightbound about a year and a couple months ago now. The head of sales development there, leading our team of SDRs, and also helping with our PLG motion at this time as well. If you hate prospecting, if you hate researching, if you hate bad contact data and not having enough leads, then Rightbound might be worth looking into for you. Essentially what we do is our AI, which is obviously a very sexy term right now, but our AI will learn what your ideal customer looks like, go start to source prospects that are relevant, as well as companies that are relevant with the contact info you need, verified, and drop them right into your outreach or sales off so you can get to Collin and stop dealing with researching and prospecting and running searches and all that stuff. So that's what we do. That's who I am. I'm excited to be here. We'll see if we can have some fun today.
All right. Well, half the battle of cold calling is having good data. So I'd imagine you're not going to have that problem today.
I sure hope not.
All right. So we're both going to be clicking in here to Monster Connect. This show is brought to you by Monster Connect, where you can have 8 to 10 times more conversations than you normally would when you are making cold calls. And so we're both going to be getting clicked in today. I'm actually going to be calling on behalf of Humantic because I'm the head of sales over there, and I'm going to be calling into some prospects with a new script that I'm sort of testing out. And Tim, are you clicked in? You ready to go?
I have uploaded my list, and now I might need some help from you to figure out where to go from there.
Okay. We obviously came in hot here. So yeah, once you have your list there, hey Jason, this is Collin with Humantic. This is actually my first time giving you a call here, but you have like 30 seconds that I can tell you exactly why I decided to pick up the phone and cold call you today. Yeah, so the reason I'm actually reaching out is just to introduce my company to you, Humantic, when I'm not calling you out of the blue. Definitely want to make sure that it's relevant. I see that you have a sales. Sure. Got it. Well, you know what? I'll go ahead and connect with you on LinkedIn and best of luck with you in the job search. All right. So getting a lot more of those these days. But
Yeah.
So yeah, once you got your list there, then here, you're going to see the little connect to voice on the right-hand side. Looks like a little power button inside Monster Connect.
I see.
Yep. And then you can connect where it can either call you or you can just connect to the web-based audio, which is what I do. And so this is obviously Tim's first time using Monster Connect, but then you'll see a big green go button. Once that pops up, then the Monster Connect agents will start dialing on your behalf, and then you'll get a beep screen will pop up with that particular prospect for you.
Okay, perfect.
And I'm calling into VP of sales, mostly software SaaS companies that have 100 to 1,000 employees. And all right. If you're joining us, hit us in the comments. Let us know. Give us some comment, give us some feedback, give us some love, whatever you got for us. Takes a lot of guts to make live cold calls. So thank you, Tim, for joining us today.
Happy to be here. And we actually have pretty much the exact same ICP for what it's worth. We're calling into sales leaders as well. So, and pretty much at the same company type, software companies for sure. And yeah, so we'll see if we can get some connects here today.
There's even the chance we might call the same person, which would be interesting, right?
Uh-oh.
Hey, Chris, this is Collin with Humantic. This is actually
Collin,
my first time giving you a call here.
I can to honor you and host this.
Do you have like half a minute and I can tell you exactly why I decided to pick up the phone and cold call you today? Oh, looks like we lost Tim there for a second. Hopefully Tim rejoins so I don't have to rock the solo act here. Just make sure. Hey, Nancy, this is Collin with Humantic. This is actually my first time giving you a call here, but do you have half a minute and I can tell you exactly why I decided to pick up the phone and cold call you today? Yeah, so reason I'm reaching out there is I see you're the VP of direct sales, and definitely want to make sure it's relevant. But I was really just calling to introduce my company to you, Humantic, when I'm not calling you out of the blue like I am today. Have you ever heard of Humantic before? Got it. Okay. Well, definitely want to make sure it's relevant. Um, just kind of curious when your sales team is maybe reaching out to prospects for the first time, or maybe getting into a meeting for the first time. I'm sure that they have some sort of process in place for researching those contacts. Maybe like a Zoom info or Sales Navigate or something like that. Yeah. How much effort is there into prospecting, into building new relationships? Got it. Okay. Okay. Well, this next question I have for you, I promise to keep it brief, and this isn't like a gotcha or a trick question or anything like that. But do they have anything in place for identifying the personality type of those prospects or the communication styles and preferences to fully personalize the way that they reach out or how they show up in meetings? Yeah.
Well, if that doesn't show that this is live, I don't know what will. Isn't that a beautiful thing?
So more around like the persona of those prospects, right? But nothing quite in place to identify that personality type or what their communication style preferences are, what the most important things, what traps to avoid. Nothing like that. Yeah. Perfect. You're speaking my love language now, Nancy. So that's exactly what we do is we're able to identify the disc personality of those prospects. So before you show up to a meeting for the first time or before you reach out for the first time ever, you have that information and you can customize and personalize those interactions. So I know I'm calling you out of the blue, but would it be a terrible idea to snag 15, 20 minutes on your calendar in the next say week or two? Yeah. So we have a technology that allows you to identify the disc and ocean personality of your prospects before you reach out to them or before you hop on a meeting for the first time. And then it gives you information on, do's and don'ts, things that are most important to those people. It sounds like you're familiar with disc, but we give you those insights so that you're not left to, trying to read and identify that stuff and having that information before ever even speaking to those people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Oh yeah. 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 Well, why don't we do this just to make it a productive call? Can we put something on the calendar, say 2 weeks out, and then we can invite Steven there. In between now and then, I'll go ahead and send you some information to make sure Steven's on board and everything like that. And if for some reason we need to push it out, or if you're like, hey, it's just really not a priority, not for me, then that's not no problem. But at least then we'll have it on the calendar. So like the week of the 13th. And you're East Coast time zone, right? How about the 15th? I could do I guess I could do like 10:45 your time. Okay. $14th. Yeah, I could do the 14th. I could do like 1 o'clock your time. 1:30. All right, you got it. 1:30 on Valentine's Day. And then if you want to add Steven to that, you'll be able to do that on your end. What's the best what's the best email for you, Nancy? Mm-hmm. Okay, fantastic. Well, Nancy, thanks so much for your time. I'll go ahead and shoot you an email so you have a little bit more context before the meeting on the 14th, and then look forward to meeting with you and hopefully Steven as well at 1:30 Eastern on the 14th. Okay. All right. Thanks, Nancy. Take care. All right. Bye-bye. All right. Meeting booked.
Got one. Nice job.
Yeah. The classic. Yeah. Why don't you? I don't know if this is priority. Why don't you send me an email? But we lost you there for a second, but you're back. What happened?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's because I live out in the middle of nowhere or what, but Wi-Fi just decided to stop working. So I had to go back into to where our internet lives and give it a stern talking to, and now I'm back. So
okay. Did you slap it around? Say, hey, I'm on a live. No messing around.
Something like that. I mean, they're just obviously not appropriate behavior from my internet today. So we're ready to get some calls loaded up now, and we'll get
all right. Let's do it. Where are you joining us from, Tim?
Between the Columbus, Ohio area and Dayton area, middle of
Ah,
nowhere,
ah,
Ohio
okay.
is the best way
Interesting.
that I can.
Interesting. The woman I just booked a meeting with is in the Ohio area. I don't know Ohio
Okay.
very well, but she's in Richfield, Ohio.
Yep, that would be the Cleveland area.
Got it. So how far is
I'm
that from
familiar
you?
with it. Like 2 hours away from me, maybe.
There we go.
So at least somewhat familiar. All right, we are dialing.
All right. Just got to get those meeting invites out, right away. I don't want to leave any.
It's true. Who do you endorse for your meeting booking platform of choice? Do you have a favorite?
We just use HubSpot, right? So we use the kind of built-in meeting stuff with HubSpot. Why do you have a fan favorite?
We use Chili. It works. I have no complaints with it. So, but I've heard good things about HubSpot as well.
Yeah, HubSpot's added some new functionality. Big fan of HubSpot. They've got everything you need.
Yeah.
Rather than having 15 tools.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're making moves. Colin, do you have an objection that you just hate getting more than anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even like calling them objections, right? Because they're just like questions. But I mean, the send me an email, that one comes up a lot,
Mhm.
and it drives me nuts because it depends on the person, right? It depends on the person that you're calling to that's actually giving you that objection. Like if they're just slower paced people and just are the type of people that'll like literally never commit to a meeting over the phone no matter what, they
Mhm.
may genuinely really just want you to send an email because they're like, I don't know who this person is. They're calling me for the first time. I'm really not even sure 100% on what it is that they do or what they can do for me. And they just want to send an email. Then you've
Mhm.
got the type of people that are just nice people, and they have a
Yeah.
really hard time saying no. And they know that they genuinely have no interest in what you do, but they don't want to tell you that. So they'll just say, yeah, Tim, go ahead and just send me an email.
Yep.
Sounds interesting. Just send me an email. And so the problem is being able to identify both of those. So like I like to say, hey Tim, look, I've been doing this for a while. If there's something really specific that you'd love to see in that email, I definitely want to send it to you because it sounds like you might be interested. But also, there's a slight chance that you might just be being a nice guy here and you're trying to get rid of me. And if that's the case, I'd love to know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't know. That's how I tackle that. And sometimes you get people that are like, yeah, you know what? I'm really not interested. I was just trying to get rid of you. And it's great. Then, I don't have to waste my time sending you an email and then, following up 52 times. As long as you're not interested with a valid reason.
Mhm. Yeah.
What's your take on that
Exactly.
one?
I think the email objection is tough, like you said, because you don't know if it's legit or not. Essentially, like I pretty much take the same approach where I'm like, yeah, I'd love to send an email, but honestly, my emails they're pretty forgettable. I'm not great at sending out emails that get responses. Like, is there anything specific you're looking for in that email, or um, is this just a nice way of brushing me off the phone? If it is, it's okay. I'm in sales. I take rejection every day.
Yeah.
Because those are tough because you don't know if it's legit. Like, I really like I've given that objection before when people call on me, and I'm like, can you send me like I just want to be able to see it. like see what it is that you're talking about or what you do. Whereas you'll have, um, other people who are like legitimately just trying to get you off the phone. So you got to try to, I think, diagnose that before you're like, yeah, here's an email,
Yeah.
and then never hear from them again.
Yeah. Any other objections you come across a lot?
I hate this is an objection that I hate just due to the nature of who I call on, but we're calling on sales and sales development leaders. So when I hear I don't take cold calls or you get your intro and it's yeah, I'm not interested, it's like, are you not directing a team of like 20 people who you're telling them to do cold calling right now? That's the thing that just frustrates me. It's like
Yeah.
you've got a team who outbounds or who's trying to close deals and you won't like at least let me have a conversation with you when I'm doing the same thing. That's something that bothers me a lot.
Yeah. That one I feel like has been coming up a little bit. I mean, I come across that one too. I definitely feel like that one's coming across less often. I just kind of feel like with everything that's been going on lately with layoffs and lots of people being like displaced and stuff like that, laid off, all that. Um, Most people have been like a little bit more empathetic of like, hey, you're a salesperson, you got a job to do. Like, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
If I can be somewhat hey, Roger, this is Collin with Humantic. Actually, calling you for the first time here. Do you have like 30 seconds? And I can tell you exactly why I decided to pick up the phone and cold call you today. Oh, really? Uh, you're right about that. Yeah. 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 You are right about that. Let me update my notes here. Thanks, Roger. All right. Ah, that one looks like maybe called before. So sometimes that happens. We've all been guilty of not taking good notes here and there occasionally. I like to
It's true.
consider myself pretty darn good at CRM hygiene and good note taking, but occasionally one slips through the cracks.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Yeah.
I don't
That
know.
one's
Have you
perfect.
been guilty, Tim?
Yeah. I tell you what, like that's the worst feeling is when you're either making a dial or you connect with someone, you're like, I feel like I've talked to you before. So then you're like you're trying to
Mm.
kind of scramble and like change up your talk track or something to sound different to try to feel out if you spoke with them before. But yeah, that's the worst where you're like your heart sinks and you're like, oh my gosh, no, I have talked to this person before.
Yeah. We got a comment here from Janet. Janet, thanks for joining us. Hey, Colin, Tim, what percentage of calls would you say turn into follow-up meetings / interest from a potential client? I find that my calls are going to voicemail. For most of the time, I'm primarily reaching out to engineers and facilities managers. Yeah, I don't know that ICP too well. But I guess the question is here is Tim, from making call. Hey Jason, this is Colin with Humantic. Actually, my first time giving you a call here. But do you have half a minute, and I can tell you exactly why I decided to cold call you today? Yeah, no problem. I'll keep it brief. I'm really just calling to introduce my company, Humantic AI. When I'm not calling you out of the blue, have you ever heard of us before, by chance? Got it. Well, kind of figured that. Definitely want to make sure it's relevant. See that you're the VP of North American Sales there, and I just was curious when your team is reaching out to prospects for the first time ever, or maybe hopping on a call for the first time. I'm sure they have something in place for researching those folks, like maybe LinkedIn Sales Navigator, or Zoom Info, maybe something else. Okay, cool, perfect. Now this next one is not like a gotcha or trick question or anything like that, but do you guys have anything in place for identifying like the personality types of these folks, knowing what's most important to them, what their communication styles and preferences are? Yeah, yeah. Well, that's definitely the reason for my call. There's really only us and one other company that does this type of thing. But basically, the results we're seeing from teams outbound prospecting are seeing a 200, up to 233% lift in positive replies. We're also seeing an increased revenue by like 6.2%. But I know you said you didn't have a ton of time. would it be a terrible idea to grab 15, 20 minutes on your calendar in the next week or two to show you how other teams are getting these types of results? Okay, sounds good. I do. Yeah. If you have like 10 more seconds, maybe we could grab a time and I can send you an email in between now and then. Okay. All right. Hey, totally get it. No problem. Thanks for your time, Jason. All right, bye. So that one there. Anyway, let's address this question here, Tim. How many of your calls turn up into follow-ups or meetings? So I guess like what's your conversation to meeting ratio?
Yeah, conversation to meeting ratio for our team, we want to be around 20-25%. We've got, I mean, some reps who are above, some reps who are below, but I mean, we call on sales leaders, and I think that every ICP is different. I would assume that people who are in engineering or something similar are not quite as receptive to cold calls, would be my guess, as compared to, our industry, which is very, very receptive to cold calls. So we're typically around 20-25% from conversation to meeting rather than connect to meeting. Our connect to meeting is obviously a little lower.
Yeah, and obviously, definitely depends on like who you're calling into. Are you calling mobile numbers? Lot of factors there that can change that up quite a bit. So this last call that I had here, normally I tried to push a little bit for the meeting because he did have some interest. He's like, yeah, I have heard of things like what it is that you do, but he was like getting ready to go into a meeting, which I believe him, right? Because we're like 2 minutes to the half-hour mark here.
Yeah.
And he just wasn't willing to pull up his calendar right now. And so sometimes you really got to know when to back off and not push too much, right? And come off as some, sleazy, pushy salesperson that's like calling just to get a meeting.
Hey, Rico, this is Tim Miller. We've never met. You obviously didn't ask for a cold call this afternoon, but wondering if you got like a minute or two to help me out with a couple of questions. Oh, from a company called Rightbound. I'm actually in a meeting too, so I probably shouldn't be giving you a dial. But company called Rightbound. I'm sure you've not heard of us, but just wanted to intro us and see if there's a conversation for the future. Is there a better time, maybe this afternoon, to reach back out for like 3-4 minutes? Cool. Yeah. No worries. Okay, perfect. What's your best email? Perfect. I got it. Thanks so much, Rico. Have a good one. All right. Rico said he was in a meeting. He said he thought I was the person calling for his meeting.
Oh yeah, love that one.
Love that one. And I said, well, I'm not that guy. Said I'm in a meeting too. I always throw that line out just because, I mean, technically it's true right now, but just to be more agreeable or whatever. But yeah, he said, who are you calling from? I said, Rightbound. Hadn't heard of us. And I said, no worries. Let me shoot you an email. We can find some time to chat. Or actually, no, I asked for time to chat later on this afternoon. He said, I'm swamped. Shoot me an email. We'll go from there. So that's fine.
No dice with Rico, huh?
No dice with Rico, but guess what? He's going on my follow-up list, and I am very, very committed to making sure that I follow up with my prospects. So if you're a sales leader and you're listening to that, just know if you give me an objection and it doesn't lead to a clear yes or a clear no, and it's a maybe,
you will make it to Tim's follow-up list.
And you do not want to be put in that sequence.
Jason just went into my follow-up sequence. So beware. You're on the list.
You might as well say yes or no at the time.
Yeah. I mean, you could always say, hey, I'm going to follow up. We might as well spend a couple more minutes here together, make sure see if it's even worth our time.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's something that like I told people before, like, look, I am pretty persistent with my follow-up. I don't let I don't let, how do I say it? Like I essentially I'm very persistent with my follow-up. I don't fall through cracks. So let's take 2 minutes now. I can follow up next month, the month after that, next quarter, but I'm gonna keep being here. So let's just have a conversation real quick to save both of us time. No one wants me to follow up.
Yeah. It's a fair point.
Frighten people into talking with me. That's the way to go.
Let me know if I
Fear.
ever make it. Let me know if I ever make it to your follow-up list.
Oh, you'll know.
All right. So far here, let's see what we got. On my end, not a ton of dials here so far because I had some in-between call work, but 36 dials, 6-to-1 dial to connect ratio. I've had 6 conversations, 1 meeting, and 1 follow-up. So it's a 16% of conversations converting to a meeting.
Very nice.
Hey, Peter, this is Collin with Humantic. It's actually my first time giving you a call here, but do you have half a minute and I can tell you exactly why I decided to pick up the phone and cold call you today? Hey, no problem. Should I call you back at a better time? Yeah. If you have like half a minute, I can tell you why I was reaching out and see if it does make sense to have a future chat. I guess Peter was having a bad day. Peter, you're on my follow-up list, Peter.
I tell you what, man, like it sounds like that. I don't know if that guy sounded angry or not, but when I have people like that, like I know some people will let that like get to them. And I know some people say just like dial more dials, like just get that out of your head, which I'm neither here nor there on that. But I will say, like, if someone is like that, my immediate response, it's kind of bad. I just like laugh. I'll hang up the phone. And even if they're being rude on the phone, I'll be like, all right, I'll see you later. Like, have a good one. And it's just like,
Yeah.
man, like it sounds bad, but I'm like, how is your life that like, are like, did something really bad happen? Or are you just like more of a miserable type of person where you just are like, you're mean to strangers? Like that's no way to live. In my opinion, I don't like being mean to strangers. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you got people who won't give you the time of day, it's like, come on, man.
I mean, there's some people who just really hate getting cold calls, right? And that's just and it's always surprising especially when you're calling into sales people, which we both are, right? Sales leaders. Where they have a team that's doing. Hey, Steven, this is Collin with Humantic. Actually, my first time giving you a call here. Do you have 30 seconds? And I can tell you exactly why I decided to pick up the phone and cold call you today. Yeah, sure. No problem. Yeah. All right. Take care. Peter wants us to call back in 5 minutes.
Oh, that's easy enough. Will he pick up?
We shall find out.
Hey, Caitlin, this is Tim Miller giving you a call from Rightbound. We've never met. You didn't ask for a cold call this afternoon, certainly. But do you have like a minute or two? Help me out with a couple of quick questions, see if there's a conversation worth having here. Okay, cool. I'll keep it quick. I appreciate it, Caitlin. So real quick, just to see if there's a conversation worth having. Are your sales reps currently doing outbounding?
Hey,
Okay,
Amy,
cool.
This is
And then
Collin
are
with
they using a
Humantic.
tool
This is
like
actually
Outreach
my
or
first
Sales
time
Loft?
giving you a call here. Do you have half a minute and I can tell you exactly why I decided to pick
perfect.
up the phone and cold call you
This is going to
today?
sound like a weird question, but stick with me if you can. So,
You're
have
at
you
the
ever thought
office?
about how your reps can
Oh
stay
yeah,
in sales loft
this is a
with enough
business related
new leads to
call.
get them through the day
I
without
see that.
doing any research at all?
Yeah, sure, no problem at all. All right, take care. You still
Okay.
on a call there? Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So, are you involved at all with like the SDR team, tech stack, or anything like that? I only ask. I keep it high level, just pretty much tell you what we do, and if it makes sense for us to throw you a couple ideas, we could. If not, we can move on to anyone else on your team who it might make sense to chat with. Mhm. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Perfect. All right. Well, I told you I'd be brief. You told me you only had a minute, and I think it's been more than that. So I appreciate your help. I'll reach out to Matt, and hope you enjoy the rest of your Wednesday here. Cool. Bye bye. I'll take a referral.
Yeah.
Makes me a happy camper.
You got to count the small wins, right? If you learn something new, which could be some information about that organization, could be
Hmm.
who you actually need to call, and is it a warm referral, right? Did you ask her, hey, can I mention you told me to reach out?
Yeah, it is. I didn't even have to ask. She said, "Yeah, you can say that I told you to reach out," which
Nice.
is a good thing. So she was super kind. You love people like that. Sometimes you can tell. They say don't judge a book by its cover, which I mean, whatever your opinion on that is fine. But I look at her. Her name's Caitlin. I'm like, if she picks up, I think she's going to be nice to me, and she was. She just had that face. She looked like a warm person. So she gave me a referral. She told me a couple pieces of their tech stack, which is huge for me because now I can go tell a story to this referral and say, "Hey, I spoke with Caitlin. Sounds like your teams are using SalesLoft, and they're probably bouncing around from SalesLoft to Zoom Info to Salesforce, adding leads with contact info, sequencing, all that stuff. What if they could stay in SalesLoft and removed all that manual work?" Um, which is great. So now I've got an email. I can put the subject line. How do you feel about this, Colin? I don't know if this is my idea or not, or if it's original or not, but you get a referral and then you go email the person you were
Hey,
told to reach
Kevin,
out to.
this is Colin with Humantic. First time reaching out to you here, but
I wanted to.
do you have about half a minute so I can tell you exactly why I decided to pick up the phone and cold call you today? I guess he didn't have time today. Okay. What was I could double tap him.
Uh,
Could double tap him, but anyway, go ahead. What was your question there?
so when you get a referral, like let's say if I make an example, it's going to be too confusing. You get a referral, you're emailing the referral, and you put the referrer's name in the subject line. That's it.
Oh yeah. I love that. Love that idea.
If I got an email with one of my team members' names in the subject line, I would be opening that instantly. So I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Caitlin said I should reach out. Now, obviously it helps if Caitlin is more senior than whoever it is you're reaching out to.
Hmm. Yep. That's another thing I saw. She'd been there for 8 years, senior director of sales. Thought it was a solid title. 8 years. She's probably well respected there. So good stuff.
All right. And for anybody who's just joining us, this live session is part of the Cold Calling Podcast brought to you by Monster Connect. You can check out the Cold Calling Podcast on all your podcast platforms. They drop daily content around the best moments from these sessions, and you can hear the other side of some of these conversations that we're having in these sessions as well. So definitely go check out the Cold Calling Podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. So we're about 40-ish minutes in.
Hey, Megan, this is Tim Miller giving you a call from Rightbound. We've never met, didn't ask for a cold call this afternoon, but was wondering if you've got like a minute or two to help me out with a couple of quick questions here, see if there's a conversation worth having. Can you hear me, Megan? Uh-oh. I'm going to have to double tap her.
Double
the
tap.
Old hello, hangs up, call back, sent to voicemail. How could she?
I mean, there's always the triple tap option. Might be a little rude though.
I'm not that ambitious. But hey,
No,
we've got
because
even that.
If you double tap and they don't pick up, they're not going to remember that when you call back in a week, 2 weeks, however long. So Tim, I was saying, if you double tap, you call them back in a week. Whenever you call them back, they're not. Hey, Rich, this is. Got to hang up there. So we're definitely going to double tap this one. But if you triple tap, there's a good chance they might remember that the next time.
That's true. Yeah.
All right. This was voicemail on the double tap.
The good thing though is that you even with that, you get so much information. Being an SDR, in my opinion, is just like fact finding. It's being an investigator, detective. Like what I found out from her picking up the phone saying hello and then hanging up is this person is Megan. This person is still at that company. I can at least assume probably. We have their verified phone number and they answer. Like those are some, just knowing that we have a good number and that they will.
Hey Charlie, this is Collin with Humantic. First time giving you a call here. Do you have half a minute and I can tell you exactly why I decided to cold call you today? Yeah, hey, no problem. Sounds. I mean, you're obviously in the car. I can definitely try you back at a better time. Hey, kids in the car, driving. I don't know about you. I'm not really gonna lean into a conversation when I know I'm never gonna get his full attention, nor do I want it when he's driving.
Yeah, no, you're not gonna get it. Actually, we're on an offsite. I don't remember when it was. I think it was our last offsite. I got a cold call from someone, and I was in a minivan, Uber, with my entire SDR team, and I was in the back with two others. It was extremely uncomfortable, and they cold called me, and I said, "Look, like I'm in a minivan with a bunch of SDRs. I would love to take this cold call right now, but I cannot even think. I'm squished back here. Please call me back when I can actually listen to you." And he went on for about 5 minutes. I was on the phone with him, and I was like, I tried to make it clear, and I was like, dude, like I just cannot listen to you right now. I can barely hear you. Like this call just will not end how you want. Please just call me back next week when I'm back home. And he did, and he booked the meeting, but because he had something interesting, luckily. But if he didn't have something interesting, I probably would not have given him the time of day. Like there's times where just like think about, like, reverse it, be a human, and like think about it. Like if you were in a car with your kids, would you want to take a cold call, or would you rather focus on the road and get your kids to wherever you're going safely?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is there, next time I call Charlie back, it's a warmer conversation. Hey, Charlie,
Yep.
called you last week. You were in the car driving your kids to school. Then you're known as that salesperson who was actually just a decent human.
Mhm.
Right. Right. I'll take that
Exactly.
over trying to force to have a conversation where I'm not going to get full attention anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And they'll be more open to talking to you at that point too.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. So I'm about 100 dials in, 12 conversations, one meeting, one referral. So I'm getting 8.6 to 1 dial to connect ratio.
That is solid.
Yeah. Hey, Srod, this is Collin with Humantic. Actually, just giving you a call here for the first time. Do you have half a minute? And I can tell you exactly why I decided to pick up the phone and cold call you today. Double tap. Another double tap. Maybe we should just add that. Maybe we should just add that to the opener. By the way, if you hang up, I will call you back. Call this guy back. Tim, are you there?
Oh my gosh, man.
Oh, you're back. We see you now.
Oh, I am back.
Yeah.
See, I was
Be
about
careful
to
what
leave
you
to
say.
go give my I was gonna go give my my internet another stern talking to, but I guess I don't need to.
I know.
Wow.
I wanted to give you a warning before you started cursing at your internet.
It's a good thing.
We'd see you viral
Oh.
on TikTok. I mean, there's always that.
True. It may go to help me rather than hurt me.
Yeah. Yeah, I was saying maybe we should just add that to the opener. Hey, by the way, if you hang up, I'm gonna double tap you, so we might as well just get into it. Hey, Larson, this is Collin with Humantic. First time giving you a call here, but do you have half a minute and I can tell you exactly why I decided to pick up the phone and cold call you today? Yeah, I can definitely do that. Happy to give you a call back at a better time. Don't you love it when they say, I'm actually in a meeting? I mean, I don't know personally. I've never been on a Zoom with my team, been on a Zoom with a prospect or a customer. Just be like, hey, yeah, just hold on. Let me get this cold call real quick. Let me get
I
this
will
number I
say,
don't recognize just real quick. Might be something important. Never have I ever done that.
when I'm on a call with my SDR team, if I get a cold call, I do take it. I put it on speaker, and I let them listen to see what other people are saying. But at that point, I'm not like, I'm sorry, I'm in a meeting. I'm taking the cold call. So I don't know. Yeah, it's such a I oh gosh, I keep getting lost. The
Yeah.
response that I've heard, I think it's from Josh Braun, who just says, um, "Look, I'm happy to give you a call back, but before I do, like, do you hate getting cold calls as much as I hate giving them?" Or
Yeah.
I can't remember what the other part of that is, but that's what I've heard work well, and I don't use it all that much, but oh well.
Yeah. I mean, I like how you said, yeah, I'm actually in a meeting too. I thought that was I mean, some people actually. I mean, the main thing is when they're in that zone of resistance of like, I don't want to talk to you. It's a cold call. I'm not interested. If you can get them to laugh or certain, lighten up a little bit, you're always going to have more success in that conversation. So, do people typically laugh when you say that? I can't remember exactly how you said it, Tim, but when you say, "Yeah, I'm actually in a meeting as well," probably shouldn't be cold calling you right now, and then you just kind of proceeded. Looks like we lost Tim again. Tim's internet is not cooperating today. All right. Hopefully, he'll join back here in a minute. Hey, Robert. This is Colin with Humantic. This is my first time giving you a call here. Do you have half a minute? I can tell you exactly why I decided to pick up the phone and cold call you today. Yeah. Hey, if you're no problem, I can try you back at a better time. Yeah. So, I see that you are the VP of sales there, and I'm sure your team has some sort of process for researching prospects before they reach out or maybe hop on the meeting for the first time, like sales nav, Zoom info, maybe something like that, right? Yeah. So, this isn't like a gotcha or trick question, but do you have anything in place to give them the ability to research the personality type of those prospects, what their communication style preferences are, what they care about most, to really personalize to those specific prospects? Yeah. Would it be a terrible idea to grab 15 minutes and show you the type of results that people are getting with that? It's depends on if it's monthly or annually, but it's roughly 45 $36 per user, and then depends on how much data we'd be enriching as well. Okay, got it. Is there somebody in the marketing to Sure. All right. So that one there, uh he was like, "Hey, I only have like go ahead. I got to hop to another call." Usually I don't like to take the bait, but he was pretty persistent. I was like, "Hey, no problem. Definitely can call you back at a better time." He's like, "Hey, just tell me what it is and we can see if it makes sense to chat." I'm like, "Great, cool. We're pretty much on the same page here." So
Hmm.
in the condensed version, he had some interest, but this wouldn't commit to the meeting. Hey, send me an email. We can maybe set something up. His SDR team actually reports to marketing, which I'm actually coming across that much more often than I used to. Well, what are you seeing out there, Tim? I mean, are you seeing more SDR teams reporting to marketing these days?
Yeah, I think I would assume as teams kind of restructure with layoffs going on and all that stuff, I think that would be my guess as to why SDRs are rolling up to marketing now.
Mm,
I've also spoken with some people who their inbound bookings have gone way up and they've moved away from outbound or the complete opposite. They shut off inbound and now they're completely outbounding. So depends on the team. I've definitely noticed that a little bit more in the past couple months, I
when
feel
you
like.
when you say
Um,
shut off inbound, like just no more paid ads, just all outbound, is that what you mean there?
mhm. Yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
I mean, but there's also the whole, there's the debate that's been going on for a while, right? Where should SDRs report? Sales, marketing, right? So I think there's also people that have sort of enrolled in that school of thought of marketing is where they should report.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Gotta take good notes. Don't want to get caught off guard like earlier.
Exactly.
Did you slap your internet around again?
I did.
I don't think you're
I don't
winning
know.
that fight, unfortunately.
I might have to put it in timeout. Give it some negative
mean,
reinforcement or something like that.
it's kind of already taken its timeout on its own.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know what I got to do, but it's unacceptable, as we spoke about earlier. It's not okay. And as I was doing, I did cold calling with Rev Genius last week,
Mhm.
and didn't have any issues then. So I don't know why my internet is deciding to misbehave now, but maybe it has something against you. I don't know, Colin. It's your fault.
Of course, blame it on someone else.
Yeah.
We got 3 minutes left to make something happen. As long as your internet doesn't go back on timeout, it's a lot of time to make a meeting happen.
It's very true. We're gonna do what we can here.
I mean, I think I read somewhere average cold call is like a minute, so minute and a half maybe.
Yeah, we got time. So one question for you, Colin, as we dial here.
Yeah.
At what point do you change up your intro? Like today, I would assume that you typically get better results from your intro to pitch or intro to hook, however you call it. At
Mhm.
what point are you like, man, I got to change this up? Or are you like, man, I'm just going to be consistent with it and see if it actually works?
Hey Chuck, this is Collin with Humantic. How you been? So changed the intro there, and he just hung up. Said not interested in a sales call. So
So there's your answer.
yeah, I change. I mean, I like to keep it interesting and switch the script up a bit.
Mhm.
There's kind of a divide amongst people that love permission-based openers, and then there's the
Mhm.
people that like permission-based openers are stupid. They picked up the phone. Why would you ask permission? Um, I like to tell folks like I don't really care if you use permission-based opener or if you don't, or if you use the one that I like to use, or you use one that's more comfortable for you. Like you should open your call however you're going to be most confident, right? Because
Mhm.
how I show up in a cold call and the words that I choose to use. Obviously, we have a simple like framework that you need to follow in a call, but how you say things is way more important than what you say. I mean, what you say
Exactly.
matters, but how you say it matters so much more, right? You'll notice like tone and speed and things like that. When for Humantic specifically, I even segment people, based on personality. So I might change it up a bit. I'm calling like D type personality sales leaders today, which is like 70 to 80% of sales leaders if you run any sort of list. So so I would change the script based on who I'm calling, which I might think would work better. Opener, I don't change too much. There's a few different variations and flavors of that. Um, Seems like you're a fan of permission based openers. You even ask for a couple minutes, which is a little bold, right? Because
Mhm.
but I'm curious, what are your thoughts? Do you change it a lot? Do you stick with that? Do different people on your team use different versions? All permission based, some not. What?
Yeah, so I mean, if they're consistently like if I see a trend with our one-on-one from this week to last, in that you're getting shut down in intro, I'm like, yeah, let's change it up and just see what we can get. Um, I think that the best time to change it too is just I find whenever you change up any part of your script, it just gets you more excited to get on the phone and dial.
Yeah,
And I think that gets you an extra jolt and makes SDRs sharper on the phone. So if you're just like, man, like I'm not getting through, or I just feel like I haven't had success recently. Whether it's true or not, like it's hard to change that feeling with data. So I'm like, okay, change this up. At least it'll make you more excited, a little more energized on the phones, and then see where it goes from there. But tone is huge. Tone
Yeah.
is absolutely. I posted on LinkedIn a couple weeks ago about how tone is more important than what you actually say. So
Yeah.
I'm with you on that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So wrapping things up here, we might have to have Tim back for another session because his internet decided not to cooperate. But for my stats here, which you could see on the dashboard, Tim, if you're looking for them, 144 dials. I had 16 conversations. So for every 9 dials, I was talking to somebody. Booked 1 meeting and got 2 referrals. So not too terrible for an hour's worth of dialing. Usually the dials are much higher, but I had a lot of in between call work that I was doing, probably because I got a little bit thrown off there when I double called somebody that I already talked to. And it's like,
Yep.
I'm not messing up the notes this time. But anyway, thanks everybody who joined. Really appreciate it. Check out the Cold Calling Podcast on all your podcast platforms. You can hear the other sides of these conversations. You can hear the best moments from these sessions. Tim, any final parting thoughts before we wrap it up here?
It is the 1st of February, and the 1st of any month is exciting. So go get them.
Awesome. Well said. We will see you again, same time next week.